The Horde is pushing into Ashenvale, trying to conquer and claim the land. The original inhabitants, the Night Elves, aren't too happy with that though and are pushing into the Barrens themselves as a counteraction. It is up to us to help where we can, by killing the Night Elf troops for instance. Due to all the problems with the caravans in the Barrens, the Horde's troop supplies are running low and we were asked to gather any arrows we can find so that the Horde archers can keep the elves at bay. We also help patching up the wounded Horde forces with a special salve. One of the Horde's top assassins, Gorod, has gone missing on the battlefield. We find him lying in the forest, mortally wounded. We try to save him, but alas, we are too late. He found the leader of the attack on the rampart and wanted us to bring that news back to the camp. Dina created a special brew that would allow Gorod's spirit to rise for a brief moment so that Gorod would be able to show us where the elven leader was located. With his help we slay Captain Elendilad and secure victory for the Horde. We're to begin offensive strikes in Ashenvale, but have far too few supplies to be able to do so. We have to improvise. There's a logging camp not too far from the Mor'shan rampart where we would be able to collect enough supplies to start the attack. To get there safely we are given Brutusk's reins, and the giant Kodo brings us there safely. The peons left at the logging camp are too afraid to continue work. We have to personally defend them as they chop wood for us, because those dirty elves try to ambush the peons at every chance they get. The shredders at the camp are plagued with rust and we are asked to collect oil from the slimes in the area so that they can be repaired. Sure, no problem. After collecting the oils we head back to the Mor'shan rampart. We get ambushed along the way and sadly Gorka dies upon arrival. Now it is time for us to head to Splinter Tree Post. What awaits us there? We'll find out soon enough. In the Dordanil Barrow den lies something very precious to the Night Elves, the Forest Heart. By using the Night Elves' blood that was still on Kodrak's axe, the warlock Durak was able to craft something that would taint the Forest Heart and render it useless. We set out to the Barrow to destroy the Forest Heart and kill as many Night Elves as possible on the way. Demons have overrun the nearby lands and we must call their threat. Apart from killing the demons, Draka asked us to gather the foul flames in the area so that she could use the green fire to counter the attack on Splinter Tree Post. Using foul magic is heavily looked down upon though, so we had to be secretive about it. Durak wanted us to collect ore for him so he could imbue them with the foul fire we collected earlier. These would make for great ammunition to defeat the elven forces attacking Splinter Tree Post. To keep things fairly low key, he transforms us into a nymph so that we wouldn't be recognized by any of the Horde forces that were still alive. We climb the watchtower at the entrance of the outpost and mark out spots for Draka to fire upon. And not much later the elven forces were destroyed. We are told to find Krok at the smoldering brazier near the Warsong lumber camp. We are to escort the diplomat from Silvermoon City to Orgrimmar, but she is trapped at the camp. To redirect the Night Elf's attention he gives us an axe so that we can cut down the tree saplings the elves have been nurturing. There are 3 elven leaders stationed at points near the lumber camp. While we're at it we might as well kill those, right? We set out to find Overseer Gorthuk at the lumber camp so he can give us directions on escorting the diplomat. Upon our arrival we learn that the Blood Elf has been assassinated. We are to find the assassin and bring her head to Gorthuk. Because revenge is a dish best served headless? Gurtar hadn't seen his beloved Draka in a very long time. He wanted to send her a token of his love so that she wouldn't forget that he still loves her. He asked us to collect flowers for him to weave into a necklace. We did and delivered it to Draka. She recognizes the nature of the gift at once and starts to weep. The gift means the world to her and she's very happy that Gurtar hadn't forgotten. We travel to Orgrimmar to find out if using the Felfire has gotten Draka into any trouble. Vol'jin isn't very pleased to say the least and wants us to tell Kurek that the Horde doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. Now that Vol'jin is involved, Durak shows his true nature and tries to get rid of us. Gladly he doesn't succeed, but what have we unearthed here? It is time for us to travel to Silverwind Refuge. The Night Elves have tried to attack the refuge with their water elementals. Luckily, one of the Horde mages was able to summon a twisted elemental himself, designed to send the elven elementals into a chaotic rage. Unfortunately, the mage fell in battle, and Captain Tarkon now needs someone to bring its creation down. Senani believes that with a show of force we can diminish the Furbolg's aggressiveness. Shown aggressiveness happens to be one of our strong points. Apart from killing a bunch of Furbolg, we have to lure out the Furbolg chief Margut, so that we can kill him and scare the Furbolg away. By killing the water elemental, we got our hands on a befouled water globe. We went to Splinter Tree Post to see if Mastok Rylhis knew what to do with it. He had no clue what to do with it either, but figured the earthen ring would. We should check in with them sometime at Blackfathom Deeps. We head to Zoram'gar at the Zoram Strand. For what reason we do not know, but the long forgotten race of the Naga have returned. We must defend the land we have worked so hard to claim as our own, and there's only one way to do it: cut off the Naga's heads. The Naga leader Vorsha the Lasher must be killed. If we put out the brazier in honor of Vorsha, surely she'll pop up and take a look at what's happening, and when she did, she was ours to defeat. The fire on top of the lighthouse has lost its strength. For the sake of the Horde fleet we have to fuel the fire, otherwise the ships might be lost or worse. We collect fat from the nearby hydras to smelt into oil. After doing so we pour it onto the flame. The results are underwhelming though. The Horde ships must have been constructed in a hurry because entire pieces of armor plating are falling off without even sustaining a direct hit. Dagrun asks us to retrieve sunken scrap metal from the bottom of the ocean so that he can repair and improve the armor on the boats. Within the beginning tunnels of Blackfathom Deeps there are large sapphire clusters along the cave walls that have great elemental power. Dagrun could use these sapphires as a powerful component for his smithing. It appears the Naga issue will not be resolved by merely thinning their numbers. To humble the Naga, a more severe oppression must be made. Marukai asks us to go to Blackfathom Deeps and kill 6 Blackfathom Tide Priestesses. But didn't she just say merely thinning their numbers wouldn't help? Oh well, who am I to ask any questions? I just like the money they give me for all these tasks. Due to the Alliance attacks, most of Zoram'gar's goods were lost at sea. The forces are in need of a good meal and we are to gather the meat for it so that the Horde will be able to carry out the Ashenvale campaign. Now that we're done at Zoram'gar, we head out to Hellscream's Watch to continue helping the Horde claim land in Ashenvale. The Thistlefur Furbolgs are threatening the Horde's expansion. Thistlefur Village blocks the way between Hellscream's Watch and Splinter Tree Post. That path would circumvent the village of Astranar. Without it, we give the Alliance an extra expansion path. We must not allow an expansion path gap. Killing the village's inhabitants should open up the route to Splinter Tree for us. Mitsua's kinfolk were traveling in Ashenvale with many sacred troll charms, but the Thistlefur Furbolg attacked them and killed them before they reached Zoram'gar. He asks us to get the charms back from the Furbolg so that he can properly mourn his lost family. The Furbolg thought Rue was a bear and proceeded to capture him. He asks us to get him out of his cage and escort him to safety. After doing so we head to Splinter Tree Post to tell his sister Yama what happened and that he is okay. Tweedle was trying to make explosives for Captain Gogoth, but he was missing one key component: moon-kissed clay. The clay was to be found on the northern banks of Astranar Lake, and we were to retrieve it. The Night Elves are continually attacking Hellscream's Watch. They have set up camp at the base of the cliff, from which they launch bothersome attacks by the light of the moon. Captain Gogoth wants us to make quick work of the elves, so we can proceed to expand without delay. The Night Elves have finished preparing their attack on Hellscream's Watch. With Tweedle's new creation we are to bomb Astranar as counter-offensive. Soaring on a Windstrider, we throw bomb after bomb down upon the village and its inhabitants, rendering their attack useless and sending them back into hiding. Foreman Jinx at the Skunk Works wanted us to kill a bunch of night elves. Some of his men have begun turning up dead, and there's no doubt that the elves are behind it. He gives us special goggles so that we would be able to find the elves quickly. He also needed a few more components to finish building the shredder needed for delivering a bomb to Saurbos in Stone Talon Mountains. Stickwad at Thunder Peak has a problem. Lord Magmathar has gone berserk and we need to bring him down. But before taking him on, we need to drain his power by defeating his fire elementals in the area, as well as filling up the lava fissures he has created. After doing so, it is now time to take down Lord Magmathar himself. The Vortex Elemental transforms us into one of his own and sends us to the top of the mountain. Once there, we quite easily defeat Lord Magmathar and peace is restored in Thunder Peak. Thug at Rainwood Retreat wanted us to kill the Elven Keeper Ordanus. His own forces were busy dealing with the Night Elves guarding Rainwood Retreat, and by keeping the Elven troops distracted, it was easy for us to get to Keeper Ordanus. The Elf and his guard put up quite a fight, but we were able to defeat them. We stumbled upon the legendary creature Shadumbra. The Night Saber was very dear to the Night Elves, so defeating it would bring great honor to the Horde. Captain Gogoth ensured us that the War Chief himself would hear of our great deed. It's time to leave Ashenvale behind us and travel to Stone Talon Mountains.